Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news. In the wake of all the drama with Cloud9 over the last few days and with Ye released from the team entirely, where is his next step going to be? Many people have given their thoughts on this. Hiko believes a potential trade between Cloud9 and 100 Thieves might well go down, or at least with Ye joining 100 Thieves for Cryo could be a positive change. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Unfortunately, some really devastating news to share to start out the video, because I know Kaide is very close to the entire VALORANT competitive scene, of course. TenZ's fiance, and she confirmed this morning, I think this was really hit people hard, this one, because it's remarkable how people, especially so young, can be affected by things so devastating. So as Kaide said, she's been recently diagnosed with AML, a form of leukemia, which is obviously everyone wants to know about, like survival rates and stuff like this. It's not particularly great, but Kaide, of course, is very young. She'll be able to have, you know, the best and most recent treatment. So yeah, just wishing Kaide the best. Like, this is really sad news, but hopefully she can fight and overcome this in due course. But I know she says here that she wants to keep streaming and stuff, but like, you know, I'm sure that's going to be a challenge because the treatment is probably not going to be conducive to that. From the things I've read, I'm obviously not an expert about this, but yeah, just wanted to wish Kaide well. I'm sure all of you in the comments below feel the same. Quick update here from the latest teaser they've done for the new agent. Of course, we're really going to get to see it in action on Sunday when they play Gecko in the show match. So it's a little bit unclear exactly what the abilities are going to be. We saw the rumors the other day that there's some sort of pet that he can throw around to maybe plant the bomb and defuse the bomb for him. We'll see if that's actually true. But, you know, we're going to see on Sunday. The other big thing going on lately is Premiere finally on its way into the new competitive system in VALORANT. So the idea is for Premiere, and there was some, and it's not quite here yet, but as VALORANT says, effectively you can join in with your team, with your friends, create your team emblem, team tag, etc. Kind of reminds me of Black Ops 2 League play a little bit. Participate in weekly tourneys and leagues, and then Premiere will now be the official path to VCT challenges. There'll be rewards going on, and the open qualifiers we currently have to go into challenges will no longer be a thing going forwards, and Premiere will be the way to do it. So you'll form a team with your friends or with your team in Premiere. You'll play the games through that matchmaking system, and that's how you'll qualify for the challenger scene rather than playing in an open qualifier that they've done so far. So big change really there, and hopefully they can execute it well, because I know that, you know, League of Legends has something similar going on. Let's talk Cloud9 then. This is pretty small on screen, but gets the point across. So this is from the spreadsheet we saw a while ago of the Cloud9 players. I think this was released by Riot Games. All the players, like what contracts they had signed. So we could see here at the start of the season, Leaf, Zyppan, Zellsis, Vanity, Cupid. This is before Ye came in, but they signed a player called Blackheart, actually, that I don't believe was really mentioned too much at the time. I believe a player formerly of Silk Road. I believe they've now let this player go. So kind of unfortunate, because no one even really heard the name Blackheart. I don't really think too much here. He was the substitute, I think, technically for the team, but because they've let Ye go and Blackheart at the same time, I believe, like, obviously everyone's glossing over this. Also, it doesn't escape me that Zellsis does seem like he should be driving in NASCAR with this name, you know, Jordan Harley Dale is his first few names. I think was kind of remarkable. But we've got to talk about Cloud9 and this Ye situation again. Like, crazy story, right? When he got dropped from this team, released from the roster, the story is still unclear. He did delete that tweet, right, where he talked about Cloud9 being like, oh yeah, they definitely wanted to drop me for these reasons, etc, etc. Now, what do Cloud9 do? We don't know. Of course, as we saw yesterday, they're holding trials to see what the replacement for Ye is going to be. But where does Ye go? I know that Sean Gares has been commenting on this and saying, well, maybe he could even go to a challengers team. Like, that'd be crazy. At least there's no buyout for Ye. Like, no, if, like, let's say Disguised Toast team actually did want to come through and sign Ye, like, they wouldn't have to pay a buyout for Cloud9 because they released him. It also does make me wonder, because this is the same thing in the Call of Duty League, I wonder right now. Like, CDL teams often sign players to what should be, theoretically, a guaranteed contract for the year, but then they can just terminate the contract of their own volition whenever they like, and that player now has no salary anymore. I wonder what happened here with Cloud9, because the same thing has occurred here, possibly, right, where Ye was contracted on a big salary for Cloud9, and then C9 say, you know what, actually, we don't want to keep you, we're just going to end that contract entirely, and you now no longer get any money. So it's like, you know, surely the whole point of a contract is to at least benefit the player in some regard if the organization makes some sort of a mistake. Now, maybe Ye said, you know what, I don't want to sit on your bench and don't want you to pay me the money on the bench, so, you know, I'd prefer just to terminate the contract and go to a new team. That may have happened as well, but what new team could that potentially be? There's been some rumors going around as to where where it might be. Doesn't make sense for Sentinels, I don't think. I'm not sure it makes too much sense for Evil Geniuses, although it might, and NRG is probably not going to happen. I imagine they're going to keep Artis. It does give the conversation around 100 Thieves, though, and that's where Hiko believes that he actually might end up.
Be signing up yay now.
No clue, son, no clue. We were actually saying that a thing that might make both C9 and 100 Thieves better is maybe Cryo for Yay. Just because their roles might be a bit better. It just depends on, like, number one, do we think 100 Thieves is going to make a roster change? I would be surprised if they do, honestly. But their roles don't seem very, very great. It doesn't look like Cryo is that comfortable playing Raze. And I also think 100 Thieves might be a little bit trolling not having a Jet in any map. It seems like a lot of the teams that run Jet seem to be owning the other teams, especially the teams that don't run Jet. Like, think about the Edward game, EDG, and think about the Fnatic game. Both teams had a Jet against 100 Thieves not having a Jet, and they got kind of owned, no? It seems like Jet kind of breaks the meta still and allows people to do things that it's kind of like how Chamber almost was played before. What's up? Does 100 Thieves keep it how they do, or does 100 if they're gonna make a replacement, do they get a duelist or a flex? I don't know. You think C9 and 100 Thieves just swap Cryo for Yay? Honestly, I don't think that would be such a bad idea. No cap. I actually think that makes probably both teams better. Make Yay full-time Jet. I actually also think a lot of these teams that are not running Jet are getting demolished by the teams that run Jet. I think you need an aggressive Jet right now because it allows you to do so much stuff. Actually.
So I'm not so sure about this one personally, right? Just because I know that Nadejot said during the off-season when they decided to pick up Cryo over Yay, it was a decision they made. They obviously considered getting Yay instead of Will, but eventually they went for Cryo because they felt like he fit better with their team situation, like having the players being a bit younger and all on the same page there, having that camaraderie, like made more sense for 100T, and I feel like it was an intelligent decision for them to make given Cryo's ceiling. The issue is for 100 Thieves is that I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with their roles. Like, I see Cryo on the Raze all the time, and I'm like, why is that the case when Asuna could probably run it very well and get Cryo on the Jet? Because, you know, we saw most of the top teams, as Hiko said, were doing well on the Jet and using that to a good effect. And, you know, I think Cryo could do that effectively, but still 100 Thieves went for this no duelist comp a lot of the time, or they would have like a, you know, Cryo and the Raze, and it was a little bit strange, and maybe Hiko's right to say that changing that up is the way for them to improve, but dropping Cryo for Yay doesn't necessarily achieve that when you could just change the roles internally, which I feel like is probably what 100 Thieves would prefer to do rather than getting Yay at this particular moment. So if that is the case, if he doesn't join 100 Thieves, which I do feel like is unlikely, and I'm not exactly sure what other NA team could be possible, or even, you know, South American team is possible as well, or could he join a team in Europe, right? I know that Yay had obviously options during the off-season. He was getting offers from teams in EMEA. I'm sure that even a team like a Liquid or a Fnatic, or, you know, who knows, right? But one of those teams that's formed a bit of a super team, they could maybe have even got Yay. Maybe even there was a possibility of Na'Vi wanting Yay, with Artis going to NRG. But of course, those options are now off the table. So if Yay was going to go to Europe, then his options there are narrowed down significantly. So tricky situation for Yay, right? Because no real other teams are making moves after this event, to our understanding. It's only Cloud9 that have done this mad stuff where they're dropping Yay after one event. Like most other teams, understandably, are saying, yeah, fair enough, guys. Maybe we didn't have a great event. Maybe we did. We're going to stick it out anyway until we actually see how good we are in more than one single match and one single performance. Whereas Yay is now, well, unsure of his future, right? And, you know, is he going to go to another region? I would say there's a good chance he does. Will Yay even bother to play challenges, or will he just wait for a team change to happen on a tier 1 team? Interesting questions there to be answered over the coming days, to be honest. Let's discuss then what happened last night in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Thought it was kind of funny here that Tarek decided not to put the Sentinels jersey on because that might not have gone down particularly particularly well with the Brazilian crowd. Of course, he'll play in the show match on Sunday, right? But before we get there, we've got one more semi-final game to be played. Now, Loud, honestly, you look at the numbers here, it's remarkable how well they've done at an international tournament. They've almost always made the grand finals, or they've lost to OpTic before then. Of course, OpTic no longer exists. They took down NRG in that remarkable series earlier in the tournament, and they did it very well last night against dRx. Again, it's another classic dRx moment where they make it deep in a tournament, and then when push comes to shove and dRx really need to deliver, they can't quite find that extra gear that they need to find, and yeah, another top 4 for dRx. They just simply love being in this position. Loud won the first 2 maps pretty easily, to be honest, and I know that many thought, oh, this series is over, GG, but dRx fought back all the way to a game 5, but in the game 5 on Ascent, Loud were just a little bit too strong. Stax made a huge play here to actually tie up, well, to try and tie this up with the collateral headshot, so we'll put it back to 9-7, but Loud regained from this one relatively quickly, won the game 13-8, and that was it. So Loud advancing through to the grand finals of another international event, incredible achievement from them, and I thought was even more crazy to me was that Les confirmed after the game that he was feeling very unwell this series. You couldn't really tell from his performance in the game. He didn't look particularly well just straight up looking at him, like during the actual match itself, but he was still playing at an admirable level, especially when he says, I spent the night throwing up, and he's on the way to the hospital yesterday to get all the better support that he can get. So hopefully Les can improve and get better quickly, just because there were some rumors that some players, potentially Les on Loud, were unwell, even right at the start of the tournament. And of course, they play in the finals very soon indeed, so Les does need to recover and get better as quickly as he possibly can. Hopefully he does, and hopefully Loud will be at full strength come the grand finals in front of their home crowd, because getting all this way to lose would be a difficult time, but it could well happen, because arguably the favourites should be maybe the teams on the other side of the bracket. It's tough to say, but today Na'Vi play Fnatic on the other side of the bracket. That's going to be hopefully an absolutely banger series. Na'Vi, like, it's difficult to call that one. I think I might just take Na'Vi, because I feel like still Fnatic, they've got to prove to me that they can get to this point in the tournament and still actually deliver, whereas a team like Na'Vi has done it before. I think they might sneak it out in, hopefully as a game 5 or something. That would be absolutely fantastic again, but some real top tier Valorant on display towards the end of this tournament. So hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.